Today we started in the town of Okehampton and we followed the Tarka trail up onto Dartmoor, came down through Belstone, still on the edges of Dartmoor here, to the lovely village of Sticklepath, then through to South Tawton. Then we headed north up through country lanes, through Tormill, and we ended in North Tawton. Total distance was 12.5 miles. I just arrived at Okehampton station. This line was reopened a year or so back, and it's an ideal centre if you want to go walking out onto Dartmoor or even up into mid-Devon. From directly outside the station we pick up this path which will lead us down to the Tarka trail. The Tarka trail is the path we're following today. We've walked for almost a mile down a gentle shady path from the railway station, and as we pass under this viaduct carries the railway, we'll be starting along the Tarka trail. The Tarka trail is a long figure-of-8 route that at its southernmost point is Okehampton, and you then can head right the way up to Barnstaple and the north coast of Devon. We're taking the east arm out of Okehampton and we're going to be heading up through Sticklepath to North Tawton. Alongside us is the East Okehampton River. We're continuing up this path. We're at 2 miles from where we started our walk at the railway station. We're now leaving behind this river and having to climb up the hill in front, make out the little track there. Well, we've climbed up from the stream below. We took the direct path, very steep path up the hill. There is a dogleg route if you don't want anything quite so severe. And now we're panning around, we're on the edge of Dartmoor. You can see the wild slopes over there. There's a bit of a heat mist today, but I don't know whether the camera can show it, but you can see for miles and miles, probably 20 or 30 miles out there. I'm 3 miles from the starting point and it's peak holiday season. The beaches in North and South Devon will be absolutely crowded, rammed, all parking spaces taken, and yet out here on the edge of Dartmoor I've not seen a single other person. I have got miles of it all to myself. The walls here are typical of those you'll find on Dartmoor, just made with the granite blocks that are lying around. This wall may have been here for hundreds of years, been repaired of course. We're heading off the moor now, back down from the high slopes. Well, we come down to a stream, and it looks like the only crossing point is with those stepping stones over there. Well, having crossed the river with those stepping stones and only getting 1 foot in the water, What do I see just up here through the trees? There's a footbridge. Some of the last half mile or so has been quite hard going. We've been scrambling over rocks and muddy areas. A little bit more here. We've got to use the stepping stones to get across a muddy stream. The stream is still running down on our left hand side. Well, I've just come off the path by a few yards and gone into the village of Sticklepath, and this is the church, and the board tells me it's also a heritage centre. It's a simple chapel inside. At the back they have these 4 storyboards about the history of the chapel. This is the main street of Sticklepath. On the wall of the village hall is a memorial to the 8 men of the village who died in the First World War, and beneath that are 4 who also gave their lives in the Second War. Opposite the village hall is this unusual design. It's a Methodist chapel, and I see at the top it's dated 1816, the bell tower on the left, and that's the windows in the side of the chapel. Further down there's a row of thatched cottages, and on the right hand side is the pub, the Devonshire Inn, and that also is a thatched building. Nearby is Finch Foundry, a foundry kept in its original state by the National Trust, and you can see demonstrations of the sort of work they did in there. It's not open at the moment, but I have been round it in the past and it's well worth a visit. Behind the foundry is this open garden area, and beyond it is the Quaker burial ground. Although it was originally the Quaker burial ground, it is now open to all faiths, or even those with no faith. It certainly looks as an interesting burial ground, and the inscriptions are very readable, so I may come back here and do a video dedicated to this spot. The village also has another pub, the Tor River Inn, and the tea rooms. Well, Sticklepath is a charming little village to be recommended, but now we're heading up and out of the village up this steep path. I've now come into the village of South Tawton, a very large parish church here. And close to the church is this Tudor hall. This is the interior of the church. There are a number of memorials on the wall, but this is the most important. This remembers the 14 men who gave their lives in the First World War, men from this village. Quite a number of memorials in the graveyard. I'll put it on my list to come back and do a video dedicated to this church and churchyard. We're 6 3/4 miles from where we started. We're crossing back over the busy A30. Cars here rushing down towards Cornwall. Passing a grand gate entrance, possibly originally a semi-stately home. It's now some sort of spa. We're doing some distance at the moment along country lanes. Not unpleasant and very easy to walk, and barely a vehicle to be seen. Through the gate here we can see what used to be the Baptist Chapel in Tor Green, 1903, but it is now a private home. Well, in Tor Green we have a couple of thatched cottages, and they're counterbalanced by this house. Looks rather out of place, rather like a factory unit, but no doubt it's beautiful inside. I think these are more in keeping with the village. Across the fields there, the white houses are in North Tawton, which is where we're heading for today. There's a huge dead tree, but despite being dead, it's absolutely spectacular, like a piece of modern sculpture. And another one. I suspect it's an elm. There's been a lot of Dutch elm disease over the last 20 years in this country. Well, the last mile as we come into North Tawton is along this rather fast road. The cars that do come along here and the lorries are coming very quickly, but I guess there's no alternative to get us into North Tawton. We'll be off it in a minute. We've now got a track off of that rather nasty road. We're back in fields for the last bit of the walk. Sheep are finding it hot, sheltering under the trees here. They think I'm a sheepdog. We've reached the lane at the bottom of the town of North Tawton. Narrow bridge here across the river. So a look at the river. Very low this time of year. Well, I've reached the centre of North Tawton. That's 12.5 miles from where we started at Okehampton railway station. The first half was hard going as we went up onto the edge of Dartmoor, but absolutely spectacular views. The second half was mostly walking lanes, but that makes it easier going when it's very hot, and today is very hot. So 12.5 miles, enjoyed it immensely, great walk. See you next time.